Hey guys, welcome back. This is our second episode of season 2. We're with Cayden Woodside, and I gotta tell you, I'm so excited to have you here for this episode. I really want to this topic's gonna be great.
Well, I'm excited to be on here. I'm glad y'all chose me in order to talk about today's stuff. So,
Yeah.
can't wait to get into it.
For today, we have our subject is about standing out and like trying to stand out when everybody else is trying to fit in. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people go through at our school because, it's just like it's high school. So obviously it's going to be kind of cliquey and, things like that happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so before we start the conversation or whatever, we have the Bursa first. We're bringing it back. I don't think we did that last episode, but like we're bringing it back. We did it last year. Okay, so basically you just have like 10 seconds to answer one question that I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you like 3. If that's okay?
Okay. Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so first question. When is the first time you decided you would like to stand out from others?
I never really made the decision to stand out. It was more of a decision of, not wanting to be like the same person I was before in certain aspects. So I decided to change myself, and it just brought attention. So.
Yeah. Okay, when is the first time you decided you wanted to be into fashion? Because I see your Instagram and I see like you're really into fashion.
Well, it flatters me you see my Instagram. The first time I really wanted to get into fashion was I actually just decided like one day like I wanna dress nice, like I want to dress like all the people, like all the rock stars back in like the 70s and 80s, and how they had that really cool persona about them. And I was like, oh, these guys are great. They got like the long hair, cool jackets, nice jeans, boots. And I thought that would be amazing to dress like that, or to dress like someone out of a magazine from a fashion show or something like that, out of a lookbook. So I decided I wanted to be something like that. So after that, I just decided to save up some money, and then I got a job, and then I just started working at it and decided to buy a bunch of clothes. So glad it all worked out.
Yeah, like kind of like Frankie Mercury.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like Ozzy Osbourne, Freddie Mercury, Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace. But yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so just for the last question, when is the first time people started to notice, like you started to get like attention?
So I have a bunch of friends now in New York that took an interest to me through connections and things like that. And they got me to go to Italy and hang out with a couple of people there. And then I was going to go to New York Fashion Week for Rick Owens, but there was the COVID scare, and since then I wasn't able to go, but I'm trying to go whenever the travel advisory opens back up again. So yeah.
That's so cool. I wish I could go to freaking Fashion Week. What the heck?
Yeah, it was mostly a friends thing. I'd have to pay for my ticket and everything, but it would have been really cool if I got to go and meet a bunch of influencers and designers and things like that. So, yeah.
That's cool. Emma, what do you think about it?
I personally think that's cool as heck. Like, I don't know. I mean, because me and Cayden went to Spring Forest together when we were in middle school. So it's so weird to see like we were both so different, and like the way I saw Cayden like in middle school is so different, and like it's so cool.
Yeah, everyone thought I was like that weird kid back then. It was really funny.
I don't know. I never knew that they thought that of you, but like I always thought you were like, because you were friends with one of the friends I was friends with, so like I kind of knew who you were, but when I like when we went to high school, it was like, whoa, this kid's like completely different. That's so cool. It was so cool. I swear. Okay, there was this one time. It was homecoming. I think last year. It was junior year homecoming. I saw you with I think her name's Haley, and y'all were just, the way y'all were dressed and everything. I was like, I was living for it. I really was.
Yeah.
So cool.
Oh wait,
really...
last year, yes. Oh my god, I saw you. Oh my gosh, yes. Y'all were like the best dressed. I was low-key jealous, not gonna lie. I was not dripped out as hard as y'all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you think like I know like expressing yourself through like clothes and like the way you perceive yourself, like a lot of people in high school, they kind of don't really like explore that really fully. So how did you kind of like, what was the one thing that you first experimented with in expressing yourself, and how would you help other people express themselves?
So in so like a couple of years ago, my freshman year, I decided that I wanted to see family in Colombia, and so I went there, and I stayed on a farm for a couple of years, or not a couple of years, my bad. I mean a couple of weeks, and I actually learned a lot of advice, and I stayed with a lot of family members that told me that it's okay to not be the same as everyone else. It's okay to, because in a lot of aspects, I'm going to bring it to a job standpoint where everyone needs like a guy that flips burgers, or you need someone that's like an athlete, or you need people that are the same as well in order to get that person that stands out. So in that kind of aspect, I don't see it as that you want to stand out or anything like that, or you're searching for something, even though you would be searching for something. I just don't understand it as that way, because you're you can't really become someone completely different, but you can change certain aspects about yourself. So whenever I started helping out people with becoming more comfortable in their skin, it it gave me an idea of who I wanted to be as well. And people just don't know who they want to be yet. And so that self-security is something that you're not going to achieve in high school. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, and like I'm still trying to find out my own self-perception while I'm trying to help everyone else do it as well. Because it's high school. I mean, you're gonna be partnered up with people that you might not see ever again, and you're gonna be partnered up with those people because y'all get along, and they also have an influence on you as well. So that's just how I see it. If you want to have a certain basis of being comfortable in your own skin, you just have to find a way to be comfortable. You have to find ways to explore, try something new, and if you don't like it, then that's something you can add and make yourself more comfortable as a human being. So that's how I honestly just see it. Yeah. Said that too many times, but yeah.
I mean, I agree with that too. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I want to go?
No, you can go. That's fine.
I agree with that too, because I personally am like kind of like the same way. Like I've always had this idea of how I wanted to like dress, how I wanted to look, whatever, but I never really knew if that was actually me or if I was just trying to fit in what's going on. And like now that I'm a senior in high school and I don't have the same friends anymore, I don't I'm just like, I'm kind of like more into myself than I was into other people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're finding. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm agreeing with you on this, that you're finding your own knowledge of self throughout high school. While you're learning all these other things, you're also learning about yourself. And sometimes you're not going to get to know it in high school. Sometimes you're going to get to know it like maybe a year outside of high school. It's just things come so different with so many people that it's hard to tell. But whenever you do find yourself comfortable in your own skin, you become more confident in things like that. So
Yeah, I feel like there's this sort of like stigma that kind of is like against kind of, because I always see like in the media and like in like school and all these places, like it's kind of like a stigma against like guys who want to like be really into like expressing themselves through like clothing and whatever, hair, whatever, these types of things. And I feel like we should kind of be working to like overcome this, and like there shouldn't be that much of a stigma. And I was just wondering, like, what is your like opinion on that stigma that is kind of like hindering people from really truly expressing themselves because they're scared that people might not think something of them?
the expectations for men, I believe, has changed over the past century. Because, you want a person that, works hard, is super tough and things like that, but sometimes it's not going to be that way. We all have feelings, we all have ideas, we all have a certain thing that defines who we really are. And in that aspect, if you want to like paint your nails or dress a certain way or do anything of that nature, you shouldn't let anyone stop you. And if your own friend group thinks that it's a terrible idea for you to want to do something that they don't understand, then you probably shouldn't have that group of friends anyway. So, but I would say that it's hard to get rid of a group of friends that, see it that certain way, because it's peer pressure. They want you to, it's called crabs in a bucket. Whenever one crab climbs to the top of the bucket, the crab at the bottom wants to pull that crab down because they all want to be in the same place together, comfortable. But when you decide that you want to break out and they don't want you to be a certain way because they want you to stay the same, those aren't good friends. Like for me, for a long time, I wanted to just paint my nails. I've let girls like do makeup on me and things like that. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, everything's all just a product. And if you want to do something a certain way, then I believe you should. And if someone's trying to stop you, then why would you let someone stop you if you want to do this? Like, I just don't get it. I mean, it's very difficult because the mind of the teenager is to want to fit in, but at the same time they want to stand out. So,
yeah.
It's always weird.
Yeah, when it comes to like that, like, like painting nails and stuff like that, I've always liked that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like personally, I like when anybody can just like be themselves and just like do what they want. But I always see people, and it's always like guys. It's like not always guys, but mostly when I see and they're just like, they're like saying like it's gay or it's like it's feminine. And I wish, like, one thing I would wish that like these guys would understand is that men and women are not totally feminine and they're not totally masculine. And people who are non-binary too, they can also be feminine, masculine. Like, it's not like, it's a spectrum. Like, it's not like one being, like, you know what I mean? And painting your nails doesn't always have to be something that's feminine. Just like playing with the Barbie doll. I feel like a lot of guys, like when they're younger, like their dads or their parents will tell them like, you can't play with that because that's a girl toy. But who said it was a girl toy? It could just be it's just a toy, like, you know what I mean? I feel like we just need to move away from this, just like that stigma that things just have to be specifically for girls and specifically for boys, or anybody, period. Because anything could be for anybody. Like, it's so dumb to me.
Like stigmas and these like kind of like rules, as like society would call them. Rules are meant to be broken. I should be careful when I say that on the school podcast, but I mean, societal like rules are meant to be broken. And if something is being told, if someone's telling you something is a certain way because it's that way, then there's no reason that it has to stay that way. Things can evolve and change and adapt over time. And I feel like the adoption of like androgynous like clothing and fashion into like the media now is really gonna just like evolve the way that society and like the coming generations are gonna think. I'm really like excited personally. Like, I'm personally really excited to see like how like the generations, like future generations and our generation now are really gonna like take it and take that kind of like thinking like, oh, society is so supposed to be this way, and kind of make it and form it, like almost mold it into something that is really just like, no, this is what I think I should do with myself. and I don't care what anyone else has to say about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because, what's the harm in, doing what you want to do if you really want to do it? I mean, you can take a risk, you can paint your nails, you can dress a certain way. I mean, a long time ago, I was really into women's clothing. I never really wore it, but, I like drawing certain dresses, I always helped my mom pick out her clothes because, for some reason, like when I was 5 years old, I had good taste. But, I had an interest in it, and I still have a huge interest in women's clothing as well as men's clothing. Do I see myself wearing a skirt? No, but people who want to wear a skirt or want to do certain things, don't let anyone stop you from what they're saying. If someone wants to stop you, then you should probably not want to associate yourself with that person.
Yeah. Like I remember back in the day, I forgot when it was, but I remember when like Young Thug, he wore a dress on like his album cover, and like the entire world was like, oh no, like he's gay or whatever. Like, and I was just, even at that young age, I think that was like 2014, 15, I was like 13 years old. Even back then, when I was being raised to think that, or I wasn't necessarily raised to think that being gay was wrong, but like I couldn't be gay. Like if I was gay, like no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even back then, like I was just like, what's wrong? Like he looked so good in that dress. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looked so good. And like I just remember being at school and people were just like talking about it like, that's wrong. Like why is he in that dress? And I was just like, maybe because he wanted to wear the dress.
Seeing like the video of Young Thug at the fashion show for that was priceless because he like stood up and he wanted that dress so badly, and then it was on actually a great album. It was the cover of it. It was made by, I think, Comme des Garçons, and they're an amazing company, and a guy was wearing that dress too on the runway. So it just amazes me by the fact that people want to put other people down for wanting to do something that they want to do. I mean, Young Thug has so much money. He doesn't care what anyone has to say.
Exactly.
But at the same time, people are going to say what you want to say if you don't have the money. So, don't let money stop you. Don't let anything stop you, really. If you want to just do something like what Young Thug did, where he dressed up in that kimono or anything like that, then you should do it.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been like a really progressive episode. I think this is so far like one of my top favorite episodes that we've ever done. Like I really like where we went with this, and I think I'm so glad you were able to come on. I think you provided a really nice perspective, and I really think our viewers hopefully you guys at home will really take this into consideration. Who knows, maybe this will change a mindset that you had, or maybe it won't change anything, but at least now you'll have that different perspective. And I'm really glad you were able to really explain it in a way that you did.
Well, I'm always here I was always one to be open-minded. So, I just decided I thought it was a good idea to come on here and say a few things. And, when Ava told me it was about security and things of that nature, I decided that, maybe it's a good idea. I should talk about this. Glad I could come on here and say some things like that.
Great. Well, then that's it for this episode. I know, Cayden, I think you have something to announce as well.
Yes. We are working very hard to get the Stratford Sideline podcast going. It's a podcast about almost all things sports. We're going to try and fit as much as we can, and we're coming up with great ideas. We're going to try and get a good team together in order to get this ball rolling on that. So, hope it goes well. I hope we can get the episode out by this week with friend Adrian and I, and I think it'll be great.
One last thing before we go, guys. Right now is a really important time for citizens of the United States. And I think that if you're 17 and 10 months old, and if you're 18 or older, you can register to vote right now. So go do that, because this is really important. And right now, we know there's a lot of voter suppression happening in Harris County. There's only one ballot, one, thing for each county. So Lyft is giving free rides to go to the ballots. So if you can, go vote on November 3rd and choose who you think is best to go into office. And we will all thank you in the end. So thank you so much.
Early voting starts tomorrow, so it would be a good time to do that as well.
Yes. So that's it. Stay tuned for our next episode. It should be out, I think, in the next coming weeks. I'm so happy you were here, Cayden. Thank you for being here. I'm Emma, and we were.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.